So we wanted to talk about the rumor that was circulating yesterday on ProFootballTalk.com. Here's your headline, and it's juicy. Could the Commanders try to hire Bill Belichick after the season?
When you're plugged into everything that's happening and talk to a lot of different people, you hear things. And you hear certain things that make you say, whoa, that's interesting. And what I heard over the weekend from someone I know and someone I trust that made me say, whoa, that's interesting, is the possibility that the end result for the Commanders is a trade with the Patriots for Bill Belichick. And it makes sense when you think about it. And it puts in a new context that leak, that strange Sunday Morning Splash report about Bill Belichick in the offseason signed a lucrative multi-year contract with the Patriots. It's the Patriots getting out the idea as owners throughout the league begin the process of figuring out who they want to hire next year. It's a reminder, you're not just going to be able to go hire Bill Belichick. If you want him, you got to deal with us. We have his contractual rights for multiple years. We're not going to fire him. We're going to wait for somebody to call us up and offer us something for him. We're going to get back what we gave the Jets to get him. We're going to get value for this asset, even if we are done with it. So that made sense. And when you throw in yesterday's developments, one, the Commanders clearly we're preparing for the future without our current key employees mode. And two, Josh McDaniels is available again. All the more reason to go get Bill, because you can bring Josh McDaniels in as the offensive coordinator because nobody's going to hire him to be a head coach next year. The band's back together. We're off to Washington, and here we go with Belichick and McDaniels. Hell, maybe they'll bring back Matt Patricia. And off they go with the Patriot way, and hopefully if Josh Harris does it, he'll realize you got to give it a few years. That's what I heard. It's not a report, but it's definitely something that is making its way around the grapevine that is the National Football League network of insiders and employees and coaches and others who talk about stuff. That's something they're talking about.
So Mike's just passing rumors around now.
Yep.
But he did say it was somebody that he trusts at the beginning of it, and that people are talking about it.
I know J.P. Finley said he talked to the Commanders, and they said there's no truth to it. They never talked about it, never discussed it. I guess I wouldn't expect them to say anything different. But,
Right.
All I'll say is this.
Who knows
and
what to believe
we
there.
talked about this because there is some logicalness to it when you tie in Belichick's local ties, his father, etc. You could see maybe there might be some interest, but first of all, as a fan, I'm out on when you look at Belichick's record without Tom Brady, it's Ron Rivera.
Yeah,
part
it's
two.
very mediocre.
Right.
It's the first 4 or 5 years in Cleveland, 6-10, 7-9, 7-9, 11-5 season, then right back to 5-11. Then 5-11 the first season in New England, and then boom, he stumbles onto Tom Brady.
Right.
Right. And then post Tom in New England, let me see, 7-9, 10-7, 8-9, 2-6 this year. I mean, it's just
true.
It's fun. You
And
know,
he's a guy that would
he's
want,
Ron Rivera without Tom Brady.
He would want personnel control too.
That's the thing.
Which is something that I think that this franchise has got to get away from.
And you have to trade for him. You have to trade assets. I did
Right.
put it up as the Junkies poll today. I know what the results are going to be. That's brought to you by Van Meter
Oh,
Home.
I know what they're going to be too.
1 minute in, it was like 96% no.
Yeah.
Nobody wants
Which is
Brady.
amazing
But
for a guy
no.
who has 6 Super Bowls.
And who knows
Right,
what's
because
true.
he loses without Brady.
Now, you do have to give Belichick credit for winning with Brady.
Absolutely.
I mean, they developed him, and Brady's one guy out of 53. I mean, they put really good teams around Brady. I
Okay.
understand what you're saying, but
Okay.
he's got to get credit for winning all of those Super
but
Bowls
he also,
as well as Brady does.
He also gambled that he could do it post Brady,
And he
and
couldn't,
he's
yeah.
showing clearly that he cannot. Not
Right.
with Mac Jones, not with any of the other quarterbacks that have been there. Like, he can't do it without Brady.
But and who knows what's true? But again, that's what you have to do. You have to think about. All right, you're going to get an older coach. He's going to want to bring in his guys. He's going to want to have total control of all player personnel, and you're going to have to trade something for him.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
it.
the trading part is difficult. Again, you can vote at Junks Radio. Poll of the day brought to you by Van Meter Homes. I think that's a lot. Now, some of this, the Flory report, the rumors, is because they did acquire some draft picks. So you're thinking, oh, we've got draft capital. I would rather them use the draft capital to trade up for a premium player,
Right.
whether it's a
Then trade for a
quarterback, a
coach.
wide receiver,
Listen.
whatever you're going to do.
The fan base seems to think that Josh Harris walks on water. Like, that's just where we're at. I don't believe that. But I do believe that he's smart enough to not hire like a 72-year-old coach as his first hire and think.
Let's hope so.
I don't see it.
It is a big splash, though. Maybe he wants to make that and continue the big splashes.
Well, if you do the big splash bit, then we're going down the same highway.
I mean, he hired Doc for the Sixers. Big splash.
Yeah, but Doc was also a good coach.
Well, you're calling Belichick a terrible coach now.
I'm calling him a terrible coach without Tom.
I think you have to give him a little. Well, you can say
Without
that about
Tom.
a lot of guys. I mean,
I got like 8 years of.
so
data.
it's not like Bill Belichick went and took a nap, during games and just said, "Tom, win these games for me." I mean, you got to give him credit for winning Super Bowls, even though he had a Hall of
With
Fame
Tom
quarterback.
Brady, he's a Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah.
Without Tom Brady, he's Ron Rivera. That's all I can say.
Total record, yes. Look, I'm not for it. I'm just saying that this would be a big splash that I could see Josh Harris being interested in.
Yep. If you want to chime in, 800-636-1067.
Maybe not.
We don't know. I mean, you just got to kind of speculate based on what he's done with his other teams. I went through it yesterday. He's mowed through coaches in the NHL. I think the current coach of the Devils is the fourth or fifth one that he's hired in a little over a decade.
But that's what the NHL does.
And
That's
in the
standard.
NBA, same type of thing where he has gone through 3 or 4 coaches, but he did hire Doc Rivers, which is a pretty big hire.
Yeah, but Doc was, had legit, proven winner. I don't think Doc lost as much as Belichick lost.
I don't know if a front office that relies on analytics like this one does is going to spit out, go hire Bill Belichick as their answer.
Who's going to hire a guy
Going
that's like
Maybe not. Maybe
2
not.
and 6 or whatever?
I don't think Doc has the great reputation as you think. He's won 1 title,
I'm just saying,
and he's
one loss
disappointed
record.
in the playoffs.
Right, disappoints in the playoffs, but pretty good regular seasons, right? Pretty much every year, winning
Yeah.
seasons.
Okay, but he got fired
Bill
for
has-
underperforming.
Bill has a bunch of losing seasons.
Yeah.
Without
I know, but
Tom.
my point is he would be a splash hire.
That's
Much like
certainly
Doc
what he would
Rivers
be.
was a
But
splash
do you
hire.
want to hire a 71-year-old guy? That's the question.
Right.
And that you would have to
I'm
trade
trying
for.
to think of a 71-year-old guy.
Who's going to
I
bring
wanna hire.
in, probably going to bring in Josh McDaniels as his OC.
Right.
That's just not that. It seems like the most unattractive package I've ever heard of.
By the way,
I wouldn't want it.
also, this is a side note. I'm going to borrow EB's back padding machine. Hold
Go
on.
ahead.
Let me grab it.
You can borrow it, but don't
Put-
only briefly.
Let me
I
put
want it back.
Let me put it on my
Let me
chair.
guess. This is McDaniels related.
It is McDaniels related. Did you guys realize that you are in the midst of a seer? Did you realize that?
Well, you told
Did
me.
any of you realize that? Valdez, do you have the clip?
He wants
Okay.
his. He
Anyway,
wants his
I want my
flowers.
flowers. I want my zays. You don't need the clip. I'll just read my bold prediction before the season even started. I said Josh McDaniels fired in season, first coach to go, heading into their bye week after a humiliating loss in late November. Bold prediction
Chiefs.
number 3. This flies in the face of one of your bold predictions, Jason. Josh McDaniels fired in season, first coach to get the
First
axe,
coach fired.
doesn't make it to December. He's going to get humiliated by the Chiefs at home in late November, and then Mark Davis is going to lop his head off post game.
I like the specifics.
There you have it.
You didn't quite get the
right,
specifics.
you
Didn't quite, but first coach fired.
You were
Yeah,
closer
pat,
than
pat.
I was because
pat.
you were closer than I was because I said Jimmy G would lead the Raiders to a playoff berth, and he's been benched. And he's been benched.
You know what? I'm going to be very busy and huffing and puffing today. I'm going to take a lot of victory laps today.
What were your
A
other two
lot of
bold
victory
predictions?
laps.
Why
Let's see.
are you trying to?
I can't
Because he just called
take
himself
away?
a seer. I'm curious. Maybe he's
I said,
got them all.
You know what? I'm pretty close. Cake Stradamus is in the building. Chase Young is back. He is the disruptor the team envisioned when he was selected number 2 overall. Has a dozen sacks. Well, and this part's not going to work. And forces the team to hand him a long-term deal.
All right, well,
but I mean, he can get to a dozen sacks.
I don't
Okay.
feel like he was the disruptor that they envisioned.
Okay, but close.
If he won, they would have kept him.
That's not a Josh McDaniel level hit,
Hey,
but that's
stay
close
on
to
the
a hit.
McDaniel. You were really good.
All right,
at
and my
that.
bold prediction number 2.
JP's trying to take away his shine.
No, I'm just curious.
Now, this one
I don't
is-
even know what my bold predictions were.
This one would have hit if these guys both didn't get injured. Kirk Cousins accounts for 40 total touchdowns, 38 passing and 2 rushing. 18 touchdowns for Justin Jefferson in a massive 2023 campaign.
You can't
All right,
pat
there we
yourself
go.
on the back if a guy doesn't get hurt.
Look,
They were on pace.
Pat.
I want it back.
I'm basically 3 for 3.
Give that thing back to me.
I'm 3 for 3 on my bold predictions. It's never happened in human history before.
All right, so the question to Commanders fans, do you believe the rumors that Florio's throwing out there that the Commanders would be interested in Bill Belichick? And number two, would you want Bill Belichick?
No.
I kind of believe the rumors that they maybe have sniffed around as like possibilities. Like I'm sure they're thinking about who the next head coach is, and they're throwing out a bunch of names. I don't know how serious it is. And in terms of wanting him as the head coach, I wouldn't want him as the head coach if he's going to, command a lot of draft picks that would go to New England.
Here's the thing.
And if he's going to be in charge of the personnel.
Here's what was revelatory to me. Sorry for missing it. I was away this weekend. Bill got an extension.
That
Apparently
was
so.
the report coming out of New England.
Bill got an extension.
Now maybe
Wow.
it is. Maybe there is credence to they give him an extension in that somebody might want him,
So
and
now
that
they
you'll
have
have
to
to
get
compensate
compensation.
the Patriots if you're willing to swing a trade.
Yeah, but
for
what if
him.
they're willing to? What if they wanted to move on from him? So that kind of
Well, then
that
they're
kind of
holding the bag, and then it's a
Right.
problem.
So that means they're probably not. They're probably not going to get rid of him.
Well,
Right.
the extension was in the off season. Just nobody knew about it.
right. It was
But
kind of
they just
slow
announced
played.
it this
Yeah,
weekend.
well, nobody really announced it. I think it just came out. Like it wasn't really ever public. One thing I think you're sleeping on is McDaniels. You're looking at Bill's record here without his great assistant, his right-hand man. If they're a package, it's a lot more intriguing, I think.
And
because they don't-
McDaniels has shown that he bumps his head up against the ceiling of being a head coach. He's a really good offensive coordinator. He's not
He's a
built
terrible
to be a
head
head coach in the NFL.
And some guys are, I agree.
And that's
with that.
what he
And
is.
He's one of the great OCs.
So
probably
you're
in
saying
history.
Now,
he's
he was
Norv Turner?
He was also great
Yeah.
when he had Tom Brady.
But he took Mac Jones to the playoffs. 2021, they went 10-7.
That's a weird outlier.
And then that's how he got the Raiders job.
I know, but
Yeah.
Matt Castle went to the playoffs one year.
No,
I mean,
they won 11 games.
They
They did
didn't get
not
there.
go to the playoffs that year.
all right, won 11 games, same thing.
Okay, he won 11 games with a bum. With Josh
Right,
McDaniels.
fluke. Fluke.
He's the secret
Fluke.
sauce.
You can make the argument. I reject it.
I think Belichick is still the best defensive mind in the game. So if you have somebody that can run the offense and he's not in charge of the personnel,
Right.
which he clearly has botched here recently, I'd be okay with it.
If what?
If he's the head coach
And he's
and
running,
he's
the,
running
defense.
the defense, but you have an offense coordinator and you have a personnel guy, I'm okay with Bill Belichick being the head coach.
All right, we'll take the listener calls next at 800-636-1067 on the MGM National Harbor listener lines. Do you believe the reports that Bill Belichick could be in play? The Commanders could swing a trade for him to be the next head coach. And would you want him to be the next head coach here in Washington? We'll take your calls next here on The Fan. 800-636-1067 is the number. The MGM National Harbor listener lines are filling up with people that want to weigh in on the rumor about Bill Belichick possibly getting traded to the Commanders to take over for Ron Rivera.
There's a little push in the poll. It's up to 14% would want him.
So 86% does not.
Yes.
Yeah. And I also just
Overwhelming.
want to be clear. I believe J.P. Finley's report that this is not real. It's something that Mike and his buddies were imagining, and they were spitballing.
They just dreamt it.
They were just spitballing.
What if someone in Belichick's circle is throwing it out there?
All right.
Could be the case.
You know?
Trying to drum up interest if things have gone
Yeah,
south
I mean, if
in
I
New
was
England.
2-6 in New England, I probably want to get out of there too. All right, let's go to Anthony in Bethesda. Hey, Anthony, you're on the Junkies.
Hey guys, good morning.
Hey, buddy.
Appreciate you taking my call.
Sure.
So I'm a hard no on Belichick. EB, I'm with you, lockstep. This guy without Brady has not been the guy, and you can talk about splash market to bring in Belichick. I mean, I look at that as a major dud, and I don't think the new owner is going to even really consider looking in that direction. A splash would be going after a guy like Deion Sanders. That would be a splash.
Oh, my God.
I don't want him to do it, but I hope they go after a young, offensive-minded coach. and bring in a whole new era, these guys that use analytics and that are really, stretching and coming up with new kinds of schemes. That's what we need in here. We need young talent, and we can't go back to these old fossils anymore. Appreciate it, guys.
Is the belief, by the way, that Belichick he's chasing Don Shula for the all-time wins list?
Yeah, why don't we?
Shula has 328. Belichick, if Wikipedia is correct, has him at an even 300 wins in his career.
Okay.
Do you remember when Gibbs came here, Gibbs 2.0? Remember how much off his fastball he'd lost?
Yeah.
Now, it's different. He was out of the game for 15 years. He's, racing around cars and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want a 72-year-old Bill Belichick trying to relive his glory here.
No, I agree with that.
I just don't want it.
I just wonder if Josh Harris is interested in that big name, the big reputation.
He could be, but he's going to have...
Or does he want to let his guys just go out and get the young...
Yeah, he's going to have an army of advisors
OC.
telling him whether that's a good or a bad idea.
Yeah.
This hire is going to say a lot probably about Josh.
Yeah.
And again, I think a large percentage of our fan base thinks that whatever Josh decides is going to
It's
turn out
gonna work.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
golden thing. Like, okay, he's a human. Whatever.
They're just,
We'll see.
They're still riding at least it's not Schneider
Right.
bandwagon.
Right. Well, in that sense, you're right.
That's what they're doing.
Right. I'm excited about that too.
No, it's like the euphoria of dating a new girl.
Mm-hmm.
You can
At
definitely...
first, everything is great, and then you start realizing there's some annoying
Yeah, you know what?
traits.
She farts too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. And on the analytics thing, I like analytics. Again, this is just me. But I don't like going for it on every fourth down and going for two all the time. Like, I like analytics in, as part of the picture, not everything.
No, it doesn't have to be the be-all, end-all, but
Yeah.
it should be a part of your operation.
100%. But I think we go too far with some of this stuff. All right, let's go to Paul in D.C. Paul, what's up?
Hey, fellas, man, it's good to always talk with you all, man. But
Thanks, buddy.
hey, man, look, we don't need the splash. We don't need all that pomp. We don't need all that glitter, man. We need to try to get this thing right, man. I'm telling you, because we've been going through this for a long time. We're a traumatized fan base, man.
Yes.
Look at all the stuff we've been going through, man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And the other thing, too, fellas, I'm sorry to cut you off because I know you're going to have a lot of callers, is this. I agree with you with Josh, man. I'm telling you, after the first day, that was it. Get down to business, man. Let's do what it is you say you're going to do. Let's turn this thing around, man. You don't walk on water, man. It's about wins and losses. And the other thing, I want to end it with this. When the enemy took this job, he knew that there was a possibility deep down inside that they would put that interim on him. If they don't put it on the enemy, put that interim on somebody. We just got to move on. Fellas, it's always good talking to you,
All right.
man.
Thank you,
I mean,
buddy.
unless they suffer a string of embarrassing losses like around Thanksgiving, I think Ron's going to make it to the end.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to make it. I think Josh is just like, look, we did our big deals. We got rid of Chase and Montez. We're going to see what Ron does down the stretch. Like, I don't think he's just going to toss the keys to the enemy.
I think they're going to win this week. This is where Ron shines.
Right.
When everyone's against him, little rallying cry. You play the backups. They play the system better. I'm telling you, I think they're going to shine this week. Or it's going to be the
Or it
complete
just
opposite
falls
way.
apart.
We're just going to lose by 40
It just
and it's
falls
over.
apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
If
think
that
I don't think the Patriots
I don't see the
could put up
players.
40.
I don't think the players are just going to totally give up.
No. I think they're going to win this week.
Well, I hope you're right.
I'm predicting
And
a
that
dub.
saves him for a few more weeks at least.
I'm predicting
What's your
a dub.
weather looking like in New England on Sunday?
Let's take a look.
No idea.
My daughter up at Cornell, it was snowing yesterday. That's kind of near
It's supposed to warm up here, so I assume it's going to warm up
Sunday-
What are
up
you
there.
going to say? You're dying to say something, Drav.
Sunday in Boston, high of 60.
You're gonna,
Looks-
I was
looks
just
nice.
going to do
Yeah, there
your
you
door.
go.
You want to do your
Yeah,
door
I was
bit?
telling you about during the break. All right, Cakes.
Yeah.
Say you're in a hallway with the Grim Reaper, and he's got his
I don't like this scenario already, but go ahead.
he's going to lop your head off if you're wrong.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Door number one.
He has his sickle or his sigh, whatever you call it.
Yes, you have to pick the next successful head coach of the Commanders.
All right.
Door number one,
Yes.
Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick.
All right.
Or door number two, Ben Johnson. And if you're wrong, your head is coming off. One of those guys is going to be successful. Who are you going with?
Cakes selects door number 2. I go with the young,
No
up-and-coming, offensive, innovative mind. Instead of
You
the
mean
old,
Josh McDaniels?
instead of the old dinosaur.
Ben Johnson's not even a better coordinator than Josh
Bring
McDaniels.
along his sawed-off little runt, Josh McDaniels, to run the offense.
chance.
I'm
You
taking
take-
Ben Johnson.
You would take.
He's been on Ben Johnson for
I've been
about
on him
6
early.
weeks.
Well,
That's
hold on.
my
Wasn't
guy.
Josh?
He wasn't on him
Well,
after he
is
put
Tom
up 6
Brady-
points
is
against the
Tom Brady
Ravens.
coming with Belichick and that tiny little goofball that just got fired by the Raiders?
Wasn't
if he
Josh-
is, I'll take them.
Wasn't
but he's
Josh
not.
coordinating the Raider offense?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's a bad head coach.
I know,
That's
but he's
already been
also
established.
coordinating the offense.
No. I throw out anything Josh McDaniels does as a head coach. It's too much on his plate.
Oh.
He's an X's and O's guy.
No more defensive-led head coaches for the next hire, at least. You need a brilliant offensive mind, and that is Ben Johnson.
There's no way Josh McDaniels gets another gig as a head coach. I don't think.
It'll take 20 years.
He's only coached 4 years, but he's been bad in both those
It's over
spots.
for him.
There's no way Ron Rivera gets another gig as a head coach.
I would agree with that.
Unless, like, these guys go to college. And I think Ron to me, looks like a shot fighter. Ron's going right to the golf course. Like, we all know that, right?
Right.
I don't even think he's going to be anybody's DC. Like, he's not interested in that.
Mm-hmm.
He's been to the mountaintop. He's had the big office. He ain't coming back. It's
I
over.
wouldn't think.
Yeah.
And if I had $20 million in the bank and a beautiful house in Pebble, I'd probably do the same thing.
Yeah. Let's go to Justin in
What do you mean,
Baltimore.
probably? I would do
Whoops,
the same
all right.
thing.
Let's go to Vic. Haven't heard from Vic in a while. Hey, buddy. You on with the Junks?
Vic.
All right. That ain't working.
All right, Vic.
Let's go
You
to
don't have to prompt Vic to talk.
Let's go to Mitch in Richmond. Hey, Mitch.
I like the Mitch Richmond bit.
I like it too.
Thank
a
you
good-
so much.
it's a great
Mitch,
bit.
Mitch from Richmond. Good morning, guys.
What's
Hi,
up?
what's up?
Here's my thought process. One, definitely don't want Bill Belichick because that means Josh McDaniels, who is like a joke to me. I'd like Ben Johnson a lot because, one, he's innovative. I think that'd be a splash hire that the fans can get behind. And also, there's no one better to learn from in terms of, like, building a culture right now in the NFL other than Dan Campbell. Players love playing at the Lions right now. But the other thought I have is, do we keep Eric Bieniemy and give him a shot? I feel like Sam Howell doesn't need to go into, if we keep him, doesn't need to go into a third offensive scheme. You know, he had Scott Turner who sucked. Maybe some continuity with EB would be a good thing, and then EB can go out and hire, you know, the hot new DC. What do you guys think about that?
Howell will be fine with a new offensive coordinator. He's a smart young kid. I think he would adapt to whoever comes in here. I wouldn't worry about that.
I just say that the jury's still out on Bieniemy. I've been impressed with him about 2 out of the 7 or 8 games, whatever we've played, and the others have been okay, and some have been awful. So the jury's still out. Now he gets a chance to grow and learn. And
I mean, just look at the last 2 weeks. Great game against the Eagles offensively, but against the Giants, they put up 7 points.
Right.
7.
Right. I mean, that's almost worse than what we did against the Bears when we gave up 40. At least we scored 20.
And he was allowing his quarterback to just get throttled by a pass rush, and he just seemingly couldn't adapt.
A pass rush which didn't exist prior to facing the Commanders.
Right. All right.
They were averaging less than a sack a game heading into that game against the Commanders and had 5 in the first half.
All right, 800-636-1067 if you want to chime in. Let's go to Vic. There he is. Hey, Vic, what's up, buddy?
What's up, guys?
Hey.
Hey, man.
So, I don't feel that Belichick is the answer. I think that is the stupidest thing that we could ever do. This would be like Daniel Snyder has been resurrected, and
I think Vic's
phone's just not up
having
to
some
it.
issues today. It's okay.
You know, cell phone technology, we haven't done this bit in a while. In 2023,
I heard
it's kinda
car
stunning.
door too.
Oh, you did?
Oh,
I
yeah.
did too.
Again, people, please concentrate
son
and focus
probably
on
in
your
a parking
calls.
garage.
It's so tilting.
Yeah, you know what? It's a lack of respect by some callers.
It
And
is.
they call and just
And they're
beeping
doing
going
other
on.
things.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
doing
it's-
other
This
things.
should be your main focus.
Just take 30 seconds out of your day. You have 30 seconds
Yeah.
to dedicate
that's fair.
to us.
Pull
I think that's
over.
fair.
Pull over.
Pulling over is fine. Yeah.
Pull over into a
Yeah,
gas
just
station.
Pull over. Or
Make
pull
your
over
call.
on the shoulder.
So I was
Please.
Hey, Cakes, can will you add that to the Dave Richard list? Is that if we hear car door during
Yes, I can
fantasy?
add
auto-
that to the ever-growing
That
list
list
of the
is getting
speed
so
round.
long.
Yes.
I was talking to my son yesterday because we were texting, and I was telling the boys, I said, "How you doing?" He goes, "Well, I was in the ER last night."
Oh, no.
He
That's
said, my whole body broke out in hives, and I'm puking and I'm pooping. Okay, and so I immediately call him, and I can't connect. He's sitting on the toilet in his ramshackle house there in Poughkeepsie.
his party
and
house.
I can't. There's the cell phone is awful. I
Right.
can't wait.
You can't hear him.
We have connection issues. And I'm going, how's this happening in 2020? Like,
Happens all the time. How many times do people call us and their phones just crap out?
A lot.
right. Let's go to Mo. Largo. Mo, what's up?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Yo,
Thanks for
well,
taking
hold
the
on,
call.
Mo, before you start. Mo is a model
sir.
of excellence. He's always dialed in. There's no beeping. There's no trash truck emptying its load while he's doing his call.
Very polite.
Very polite.
Very polite. He's
Go
very,
ahead,
and he's
Mo.
very good at
Mo.
mounting TVs.
Mo, you are a model.
And playing
golfer.
golf.
He's a very good golfer.
Yeah.
Very good golfer.
All right,
Won
Mo,
his club
continue.
championship, right?
Continue, Mo.
Yeah.
Mo, do you call us from your cell or from a landline?
From myself.
Okay, all right.
All right, what's
Sounds
up?
good.
What's up, Mo?
Before we get started, it's Open Line Thursday. I just want to shout out a couple of my boys that I played with over the weekend that you all know, Merchant and Tracy Bergen, a couple of stacks from back in the day.
Point guard.
So I just wanna-
TB's our guy, yeah.
Point guard.
Yeah. What's
Yes,
up?
I just want to shout them out. I'm totally against the whole Belichick notion. Like you said, without Brady, he's garbage. But
you.
I will say this. I'm totally Team Harbaugh, gentlemen. He's a proven commodity. He's a motivator of men and young men. He knows about the draft prospects coming in as far as talent that he missed out on in recruiting, but you can still grab at the professional ranks. I think he was like 44-22-1 or 45-22-1 at San Francisco. I'd like us to go that route. He's got quarterback experience at the professional ranks. And
He'll steal signs. He'll do anything to win.
All right,
You know that.
you're making a decent argument. You're making a decent argument, Mo.
And when he comes into town, he turns the programs around immediately, and he implements a strong nose defense, which is exactly what we need. So
All right, hold on.
if I'm picking somebody, I'm going Harbaugh.
You're making a good argument. I have been anti-Harbaugh, but compared to Belichick, I'd crawl to
Yeah,
Harbaugh.
Of course.
Compared to those two. And Harbaugh doesn't have the championship pedigree, but he's just younger, seems more
made it to the Super Bowl.
vibrant. He's only a few years younger, right? Or is he 60?
He's 61.
He's probably
I
10
think.
years.
Yeah.
Still 10 years younger.
Yeah.
He's Ron's age.
But here's a question I have for you, and I don't have the answer. So he was very successful. He got the most out of Kaepernick and did what he did there. And then he's gone to Michigan, and he's taken them to new heights. Got him over the hump. But how much of him not being in the league, how much has the league changed in the last 6 or 7 years to where it's not the same league anymore when he comes back? And you know what I mean?
I don't think it's that big of a jump, because if you look at the schemes that are showing up in NFL space, they're coming from college programs. I mean, if you think about how the game is changing from spread, 5 wide receivers and stuff, we're not even doing I formation, pro set formation anymore. I mean, there's spread offenses, and a lot of these schemes are coming from college. So I don't see why
that wouldn't be an issue.
natural.
All right, you might be able to convince me of that.
Who knows? I mean, I'm sure he would adapt,
All right,
but
thank
we
you,
have
good
no
caller,
idea.
Mo.
Let me just say,
Shining light of
compared
callers.
to Belichick, I'm all in on Harbaugh.
Right.
And I was
mean,
anti-Harbaugh yesterday.
All right, Harbaugh or Ben Johnson?
That's a tough one. I need to. You know what? I couldn't. Ben Johnson could come in here and share a seat with me. I wouldn't know who he is. I need to. What's he like? What's his personality like?
Well, he's getting a lot out of Jared Goff and the Lions offense.
I need to know a little bit about him. I need to know, like, is
So
he a
we're
little pencil neck geek?
Look,
or
you-
is he a Dan
You have
Campbell
a
type? What
computer.
is he?
You have a computer 6 inches away
I
from
know,
your
but I'm
face.
just saying, you guys are
Look him
all
up.
hyping him up. Like, what's he like? Everyone just
Nobody knows his
Everyone just knows the
personality.
myth.
Cakes
They
is
just
hyping
like
up.
the
But you guys
result.
Cakes
just
is
know the
president of the
myth.
Ben Johnson fan
No.
club.
I know that his offense scores a lot of points, and
I
he's
know,
breathed life into generally a boring and stale
I'm
offense
just saying,
in Detroit.
I consider myself, and this is true, get the back patting machine, elite people reader. Elite. Okay? So I need to read him.
Right, well, read Wikipedia and you'll find out a lot about Ben Johnson.
No. I need to read his personality.